Hey everybody, it's Samantha from Samantha's Designs. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you've had a great day and everything's going well in your world. I just want to say thank you for coming to my channel, checking things out. Today we're going to do a split card design. The first time I ever saw this was on Jennifer McGuire's channel here on YouTube, and I just fell in love with it. I had never tried it before and really wanted to do it. So what I did was take some balloons I had made on Cricut Design Space and cut them out, and we're going to use those to make this card over again today. Along with that, I am using a Simon Says stamp set. I do not remember the name of it, but I'll try to link it below if I can find it for you. But it is my favorite. You can tell it's well loved and well used. And here we have a Stampin' Up! Pad in Melon Mambo, and then I have this purple metallic pen, which I colored in this seashell that came from Cricut Design Space. This seashell, I had the Cricut draw it, and then I covered it with this metallic purple pen, which is great, except I had to take a pen and kind of color over again where the lines were because it was so opaque. But it worked in the end. I like the way it turned out. These balloons were a little bit bigger than I had originally thought I wanted, but I made them work. So here we're starting with a regular A2 size card. So it is cut at 5.5, and it is 8.25. No, excuse me, 8.5. Excuse me, and 5.5 wide. So at the 4.25, which is the halfway mark, I'm making some little tick marks because I want to find the very middle of this card, and that's where we're going to be placing our split design. So I am using my T-ruler here and just kind of getting it lined up as best I can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but try to find the middle of your card. And this pencil line gets covered up so you don't even see it in the end. So on this particular card, I don't think I even had to erase it. So then I'm going to figure out placement for these balloons, but before I did that, I decided, these balloons are a little bit plain, so I took the Melon Mambo and a blender brush. I don't use a particular brand of blender brush. I just use a cosmetic brush because it works fine for me and what I do. I found that a little cheaper. And I'm just kind of adding some shading around the edges of the balloon. I think this adds a little bit of depth, gives it a little bit more interest, so that it shows up a little bit better on the card and it's not so flat looking. So, see, easy peasy, and that's all you have to do. I'm going to do the other one the same way. I think on this one I decided though I was going to use my Simon Says stamp set and add a little design to the balloon as well. I thought that added a little something. I really like doing these types of cards, getting that 2-for-1. Definitely during the pandemic, I've been more into making multiples of cards, so this was right up my alley for this time period. So, okay, yeah, I'm going to bring in that Simon Says stamp set, and I'm so sorry I don't have it here with me to give you the name of it, but like I said, I have used this thing so much. I decided just to use one of the striped triangles, and I'm going to use that to make a little bit of a border right in the middle of that stamp. So I'm getting my stamp block here, and I'm just going to get it positioned where I want it to be. And I'm having a tough time with it, obviously. You don't realize this when you are doing a voiceover until you look back and you're like, wow, that took me forever to figure out how to get that placed, that little triangle. And then I'm going to take the same color, the Melon Mambo, and I'm just going to start stamping. Like I said, just a little border. If you didn't want it this dark, you could always stamp off and then stamp the image, but I was okay with it being darker for this particular card. And these were really easy to line up because they're really just very simple image. Okay, that's it of the Melon Mambo for right now. So we're going to go back. I got to clean up my stamp, of course. Any day now. I'm going to get to the next step. Oh my goodness. Okay, now I decided that I really wanted to use another stamp from the stamp set. It has little bows, and I think that makes it the balloon look a little bit more like a balloon. So I decided to use the bow, and I'm going to use some Memento Tuxedo Black ink here, and just going to stamp those on the end of the balloon. Again, I think it just brings attention to the bottom of the balloon for you to go, oh, that's a balloon, that's what that is, gotcha. So it just adds a little something. It's almost like it's got a little tuxedo bow tie as well. I just think they're really, really cute, and I just thought it added a little extra to the design. So very small little elements like this can really make a big difference on your card. Oh no, I almost dropped it on my balloon. That would have been awful. I'm so glad I did not. Oh my goodness, that would have been bad. Okay, so we're going to get the Memento out of the way, and then letting you know it's Tuxedo Black. Then we're going to bring back in our card here in just a second, and we're going to start placing everything. And I am going to use this stamp set a little bit later too to help bring a border into the card as well. Alright, here we go. Here's the card again, and now I'm going to start placing these and figure out where I want the balloons to sit between the two, because you know this is going to get cut in half, so you really wanted to figure out where you want your balloons to be. And I'm just going to use some tape runner to make it easier to find the placement, and that way if I don't stick it down too heavily, also I will be able to kind of move it a little bit before it adheres too well. And I am using some that I made earlier as a reference point to figure out, okay, this is where I want this one, and here's where I want this one. And you kind of want to, see them offset just a little bit, so you have one part's on one side of the card and then the other part's on the other side. And there you go. So then I'm getting out my trimmer. I'm going to trim off these things that are overhanging. This is my guillotine trimmer from, I think it's Fiskars. Yeah, it's Fiskars. I love this thing, and this is a very small one. I don't have a large one. If I had the room, I'd buy a huge one as well, because I use this thing. I like this one much better than even my other Fiskars trimmer, to be honest. It cuts so smoothly. Okay, so then we're going to turn this, and we're going to get this right in middle, so at 4 1/4, lining it up, and I'm going to split this thing right in half. Easy peasy. Alright, now we got 2 cards. This is so cool. I love it. It's so easy and so much fun. I really did enjoy making this card. And again, this will help keep my birthday stash kind of together. And here's just my card base. This is 11 by 4 1/4, and I'm scoring it down 5 1/2. And I also have a white card is what I'm going to put the other one on. Same thing. I'm just making my card bases to get that kind of taken care of and done. Now I believe, okay, I'm just going to finish making my card bases. And I think on this one I ended up using the black just because I think it pops it a little bit more. And this would be flat. So the panel is the same size as the card. You could cut it down a little bit more if you wish to, and to get a little bit of a border. Kind of depends on you and what you're looking for. For this, I decided to use some double-sided tape. I believe this is some that I picked up from Daiso. It's really strong. It's good tape. I've been very pleased with it. The only problem with this particular width, it's so wide you can't tear it. They do have smaller widths that are very easy to tear. This one is not that width though, so it makes that part a little bit harder. Now I like to burnish my adhesive down because I think it makes it easier to pull off the backing. That's just me. I don't know if other people do that or not, but I do like to do that. And now this is the hunt for my tweezers, because I use this to get the backing off. To me, this is kind of the easiest way. Now this little trick I learned from Natasha Foot, I guess is how you say her name. She's a YouTuber here in, because I have a hard time getting things centered in the middle of cards. So if you do the little corner trick and then hold it down and then you can pull out the centers, I tend to do that better. It helps me get things centered. I do have to make sure the tabs are all out. And this one, because I'm leaving it the same size as the card base, I really didn't need to have this, to be honest. And even here I'm struggling. But especially those that I cut down, there's a little bit of border. This does make it a little bit simpler for me to get this straight. And then you just pull out each one of those little tabs and your card is all stuck down, and it's wonderful. Love it. Okay, so evidently this was needed a bit of a trim. So again, I'm pulling out my guillotine trimmer because that thing is the bomb, boy. And this is like 110 pound cardstock, so it just goes through it like butter, pretty much, except I'm having to hit it a little bit because I've got 3 layers of cardstock. But it works really, really well. I've always been very impressed. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my stamp set, and I'm going to get one of these little clusters here. And that is going to help kind of focus or bring your eye in to the balloons. I think that it works really, really well. And I just use it to make a little border around the balloons. Again, I'm going to use that same Stampin' Up! Melon Mambo. I think that is probably my favorite Stampin' Up! Color there is, as I love some Melon Mambo. I use it a lot. Probably more than any of the other colors. And then, like I said, I'm just going to build a little bit of a border around. I turn it around sometimes just to, give it some interest, like I said, and it really draws your eye to the balloons, I think. And it looks like you're having a big party, the balloons too, in my opinion. It's all the confetti and the fun that's going on behind the scenes at the party, you know what I mean? Okay. And then for the bottom, I realized I just needed to bring in my paper again because I didn't want to get ink all over my desk. And there you have it. Easy peasy. Now I am going to do a little bit of a sentiment. I think I got I got some on my balloon. I had forgotten I did that. Yeah, so I'm going to try to wipe it off, and then I have this little eraser that I'm just going to try to get some of it off, and I struggle with my eraser. I usually don't, but so I try to get as much of it off as I can. I don't know that I'm really successful, but I do try. And then I'm going to pick one of the sentiments from the same stamp set. This one I believe has birthday wishes, and then it has happy birthday. Oh, and it has celebrate. I had forgotten about the celebrate. Let's Celebrate. So I'm going to use Let's Celebrate on this one. And we're just going to use that, again, that same Melon Mambo. I'm going to bring in my piece of paper because I think I'm going to stamp this off. Yeah. And then put my Let's Celebrate so it's not quite so dark. And there you have it. Oh, gorgeous. Love it. Totally love that card. It's so cool. Okay, I'm just cleaning up my stamp again. I'm not sure why I'm doing that because I'm going to make the other card as well. Okay, here's the other side. This one, I am going to do the same thing. I am going to use that same little border to put a little border around the balloons. Again, I just think it brings interest. Just brings interest. I think this one I decided, yeah, I'm stamping off this time. I decided maybe the other was just a little too bright. Because the Melon Mambo really is kind of a dark color, but it's really, really pretty. And I'm trying not to get it all over my hands, but I'm not succeeding. So again, I'm just wiping up and cleaning up a little bit here. Getting off my fingers before I smear my card. Because I've been known to do that, people. Been known to do it. Don't mean to. I just kind of do it. Okay, so this one I'm going to add a little bit of a sentiment to as well. I think I picked a different one for this side. It's birthday wishes. Now you're going to have a connection, but this is one of those things that I cut apart. I cut apart the birthday wishes. I think I was using birthday and some other cards in the past. But the nice thing about these is that you can really put them right back together. It doesn't hurt the stamps to cut them apart. And you can put them right back and stack them back the way they were. This time I go straight down with the full Melon Mambo with my birthday wishes. And there you go. It is so cute. Okay. Done with all the stamping. So now we just got to put this on the card base. This one, I believe, I do trim up a little bit to make it more towards 4 1/4 by 4 by 5 1/4. So that way, when you put it on the card base, it's got a little bit of border. I'm trying to figure out which balloon I want to chop off because I like them. I like my balloons. They're cute. So I decided to take some from the top in this case, and then a little smidge at the bottom, just so I'll have that border that I'm looking for. Because this one I'm going to put on the black card base, which again I really think that makes it pop. I think it's just completely beautiful. I really do. Okay. So you see with the black, it just really makes that stand out. Now on the inside of the cards, I do put some typing paper and I'll code that to fit inside of the cardstock. So when I go to write my message, I have somewhere to write it. Or if you have metallic pens, you could always use metallic pens. Now this time I decided to use my thinner so that I could actually tear it. This little trick I got from Mamie Made It. She uses a block, but I use my bone folder, and that's what I usually tear things with. That way it's tearing straight. I don't have to cut it. I think that really works pretty well for me, and I really like that. That I can do that easily. And then again, I just use my bone folder to really stick down the tape. So then I can do my corners, and again, this helps me get it centered a little better, and I don't have to struggle as hard about getting it centered. I still do things crooked. Even when I try this trick, it still sometimes comes out crooked, but it's better than when I don't do this. So I try to do this more often, because like I said, I just easily get things crooked all the time. But this does help a little bit. Okay, so I'm just kind of making sure I got a even frame, and then I start pulling out those tabs. I love this trick. It works so well for me. I'm so glad I do it. And that's the split card for number 1. There you go, guys. And we're going to do one more together, okay? This one, we're going to, again, I got my same card base, got the line down the middle just like last time. And this time I'm going to do a little bit of shading before I do the stamping. So I'm taking the Melon Mambo again. I'm sticking with Melon Mambo today, people. I love it. I love this color, I'm telling you. And then I'm going to take a blender brush. Now I use just regular makeup brushes. I don't have fancy blender brushes, but these work fine for me. I don't have any problem with that. And I'm just going to tap some of it off, and then I'm going to blend onto the bottom part of my card bases here. I'm just trying to, I'm going to be stamping some candles, and so I just want something to kind of ground it. Again, bring the eye down to the images, so that's why I'm kind of doing this. And I'm keeping this really light-handed. I'm not doing anything heavy at all. It's just a little bit of color. It's not much. And again, it's just so that it grounds the images a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to use a different stamp set. This one's got some candles in it that I really, really like. And you can do the candles and then the flames in different colors, which is why I like it so good. So I'm going to use the ones. And then they also have ones that are the outline if you wish. If you'd rather color them in. That would be fun if you want to do one with like rainbow colors and color those in. That would be so stinking cute. So here I'm just kind of planning where I want my candles to kind of lay in between the two sides. Put them cut in the middle there, and trying to get the spacing right. I'm trying to figure out the flames. So then I decided to get my stamp positioner out because it was just easier. And so I'm gonna first do the candle part of the candles in that Melon Mambo, and I'm just trying to be light-handed as I can. I wish they were a little bit lighter, but I'm okay with it. I think they look fine. So now what I'm going to do then is I'm going to be moving my paper, because I decided I really wanted candles all the way across. I didn't want it just in the middle. And this Melon Mambo gets everywhere, so I'm trying to make sure it doesn't get messed up somewhere on my paper. No, I don't want it to be. Alright, so I'm going to move my paper over. Okay, I'm trying to make sure I don't get anything in my ink. I'm just trying to find where I want them to line up. There we go. so then we're going to ink up this again, and we're going to stamp it. Okay, so we still got to do the other side. Now the other side gets a little tricky. I was hoping it would go through my I was hoping it was going to go through my stamp thing, but it's not, because it's too tall. So I'm going to have to figure this out in a different way, which just means moving the candles. That's basically what's going to happen here. So I'm just wiping them off so don't get any ink anywhere I don't want it. And then I'm going to move the candles over just like that. It's going to hang over the side, but it doesn't really make any difference. And it's not going to stamp really well on the candle on the very edge of the paper. But again, that's okay, because I'm going to end up cutting some of it off anyway, so that it can fit on the card bases the way I want it to. Yeah, see, it just is not gonna. It's not going to go all the way, and that's okay. I decided, it's fine. It's not going to make a difference. I'm really pushing trying to get another candle, and I was like, that's good enough. That's good enough. It's all right. It's fine. So then I'm going to, of course, do the same thing. I have to do it with the flames of the candle, and so yeah. Okay. Now, the color that I use is one, I wish I had picked something a little lighter, or even maybe a more orangey color, but I just picked what I had. This is, I can't even see it. Hello Honey, maybe? I don't remember. I'm so bad. And I'm going to line up my candle flames here as best I can. And then I'm going to follow the same process. And then just try to get everything lined up as best as I can. Okay, so we're going to ink this up, and we're going to stamp down. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, is I'm just going to move things over and do the flames as best I can. Because I don't want a disembodied flame in the candle there. That would be bad, wouldn't it? Oh, that would be bad. Guys, I am so sorry this is such a long one. I'm going to try to edit some of this out so you don't have to worry about all of this. Probably should have turned this into 2 videos. Okay, got to clean off that stamp really well, because I got to put it, position it on the other side, which is what we're going to do next. And then we're going to try to get these all stamped. Oops, I didn't want to pick it up, did it? I'm trying to decide what I want to use for sentiments. There's a few up here with this that are kind of, they're a little snarky. They're a little cute. Like, oh, you had so many birthdays, you've created a fire hazard or whatever. So while I have everything out, I'm going to go ahead and do my sentiments this go around. I don't usually do that. And I'm trying to center the sentiment a little bit closer to that line because I know I'm going to be cutting this a little bit to get it to 4 by 5 1/4. So I have happy birthday and then I have a little sub sentiment here and making sure it's down good. And then I'm going to get that all taken care of. And I'm sure, did I use Memento? I'm sure I used Memento Black. That's kind of my go-to. Yeah. Memento Tuxedo Black, as usual. That is my current favorite black ink that I use for everything that I'm going to want to be black on my card. That's also a Copic friendly ink, so I think that's part of the reason I like it so well, because I can use it with my Copics as well. Now the nice thing about stamp positioners, you can also double stamp it. If that's not dark enough for you, you can double stamp that. So that one turned out fine, so I didn't do that, but that's just something to remember. And then I'm going to attempt to do the same thing on the other side of the card and get everything lined up kind of where I want it to be. Again, closer to the line, because I'm going to be cutting this down. I know I'm going to cut this down, so I want to go ahead and just do that. That'll be simpler. Okay, this one was a little lighter or something did not translate as well, so I did double stamp this one. That's one of the things about the stamp positioner that's wonderful. And you got to get your sleeve into it. I know all these people got these wonderful little things that they've made. I've got to find one. I know a lot of people are using a dry eraser. I need to find one because, yeah, I do that quite a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to use my little tool here, and I'm going to start erasing this line because this one, and I'm having a tough time with this tool. Usually I don't have that problem, but this one definitely has to be erased because you see it. So I'm just going to take that, erase it all up, and then it's time to trim this thing down and put it on a card base. So here I'm bringing in my guillotine trimmer again, and I knew I was going to be cutting this down, so here's where I start doing the cuts here. And again, this makes it 4 by 5 1/4. And I just really like those. Those are so cute. And then I'm going to put these on some card bases, of course. I decided to do one in red. I was like, why not? It's cute. It goes. I'm going to do it. And oh, I found a little weird something with my sentiment. I was like, oh, I didn't stamp it well. So I'm going to move this one over to Let's Celebrate from the Simon Says Stamp stamps that I showed you earlier. And I have this little banner die cut in my stash that was already cut out. So I'm going to put the Let's Celebrate right on that. And that way, what the stamp the part that I didn't stamp very well, I can cover that pretty much up with this banner, which is the point. So there's always a way. If you don't stamp things the way you want them to stamp, or they don't come out well, there's always a way to fix it. So in this case, I'm just covering it up. I'm taking some foam adhesive. This is from Dollar Tree, and they come in these squares, and I really like this adhesive. It does really good job, and I'm going to use that to help get this on my card. I'm putting this in between the little folds of the banner here because I want it to kind of stay nice and dimensional. So that's why I cut these little teeny slits, which I'm having a hard time getting the back off with my newly done fingernails that I hadn't done in forever since the beginning of the pandemic. It was nice to finally get my nails done. It's been a year. Okay, so this just kind of helps make the banner a little bit more dimensional. And then I'm going to put more foam adhesive on the back of this. I'm just cutting it to size. Okay, so this is going right over that part that I kind of messed up. If I can get everything to stay put. Okay, so I got my little Elmer's glue out. I've decided I needed to add a little bit of glue right there on the ends, trying to make sure they stay stuck down as well. Now, if you'll notice, it's not covering this up completely. I really did want it to do that, but I decided to kind of go with it. And then I'm going to add some little gems to help cover up the black at each end. I'm trying to figure out which color I want to use here to go with my card. And I'm making sure it's going to cover up the last little bit of that black, and it does. It does perfectly. And then since you're supposed to leave things in threes, I'm going to add one more at the top there. And I'm getting my quick tool, or whatever this tool is called. I love this thing. Sometimes it really aggravates me, but it at least will help me pick up those little gems as I'm trying to put them down. And then I use the other end of it to get my tool to release. Because sometimes it's a little problem. And my glue is being a pain here too. I think I need to get some more of my sticky stuff down out of that thing because it's just not picking up the way it's supposed to. Okay. So that is how you get that problem fixed. I'm glad I did that. And then, like I said, I'm going to put this one on a red card base. You know, I wasn't planning on doing that, but then I saw it on my desk, and I was like, that kind of goes. Even though it's kind of pink, I still like it. So I'm just folding it in half. to get that card base ready. And I decided I don't usually use liquid glue, but because the glue on the gems were there and everything, I decided on this one I was going to, just to give me some time, wiggle room. I could get it right there in the middle. There we go. Cute. So cute. And then for the other one, I think I ended up with just a plain, oh, I did black. Okay, very good. That's the top folding card, so it's 11, 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm going to score it at 5 1/2 to make a card base. I really do like the magenta with the black. I think it pops really well, so I see why I picked that. And that's something you're doing a voiceover and you don't remember what you did. I don't know that you guys know this, but I am so much more in awe of YouTubers now that I've been trying to do my own videos. It's a lot of work, guys. It's a lot of work. So people who think that YouTubers who live off make a living off of YouTube, if you think they don't work, that is so untrue. That is so untrue. Especially if they do their own editing and all of that kind of thing. Yeah, that they are totally working every day, and they work very hard. So at this point I'm getting tired, so I just use my tape runner. Now this is where I can get myself in trouble, because usually I won't get it centered correctly. I think I do pretty good this time, but it can be a problem, and that's my Elmer's. I'm an Elmer's girl. Almost all the glue I use is Elmer's except for the tape runner. And see, the top's not really centered. That's what I mean. I don't always get it spot on. And then I'm going to get some more jimmies, because I really like the jimmies on the other one, and you have to have 3, so I'm going to do 3. And yeah. And there's 2 more cards. Aren't they cute? They turned out so well. I'm so proud. And then I have a couple other cards I just kind of wanted to show you that I had done using the same technique, but I used that Simon Says stamp set again. And there's the 2 from earlier that we did. But I'm going to show you these 2. These were from the same stamp set, but I used the balloons and stamped the balloons from that Simon Says stamp set. You're going to see that in just a minute. I'm sorry, my voiceover is so difficult here. Let me get these all out of the way. Here they are. And I liked how they turned out really well too. Again, I used red on this one and the Simon Says stamp, and I used the solids. And then I just drew with a line, a pen, the balloon bottom, the strings, and then I used some of the confetti, the different confetti, for the confetti in the back, and then a little bit, some different sentiments from a different stamp set. I think that was a Lawn Fawn one. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm going to show it to you. This one that has the happy birthday on it. I really like that, happy birthday, and it says, "You're awesome." So, yeah, really enjoyed making that split card as well. Okay, everybody, that does it for me. I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Bye.